Hey, 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 happy holidays. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, interestingly enough, not only thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief, but also Portal Vortex 9. We will talk about our sponsor in just a few moments. But welcome aboard, everybody. It is Thursday, December 19th, 2024. This is live stream number 1135. If you're not overly familiar with the show, normally what I will do is I will share the latest tabletop gaming news, and then I will pontificate about a topic related to our hobby. That's normally how this show operates. Tonight's going to be a little bit different. So strap in, everybody. It's going to be a bumpy night. Not really. Not really. It's not going to be bumpy at all. Unless things get screwed up, which, sometimes happen with a live show. So could have some bumps like that. But anyway, we are not engaged in any sort of rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. We're just hanging out, having some fun. Now, of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit the newly redesigned thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you're not going to find on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Also, because this is a live show, that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And you must be a subscriber to the channel, and you must be a subscriber for at least 10 minutes. Whew, that's an awfully long time. Well, I guess depending on what's going on, if you didn't have oxygen, I guess 10 minutes would really be a lifetime or a lifetime ender. Anywho, if you check both the boxes, and if you want to say howdy, maybe you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my very best to respond. First out the gate tonight is our good friend, the Madman. Good to see him back once again. He is one of our chat moderators. Semper Buffo's with us, as is Walona's Cave. Mike Mini Chest is back again with their new nickname. See, I remembered, kind of, sort of. Sean O'Donnell, W. Forge, Glenn RX, Keith Ulu. So that is who is in chat up to this point. So actually, chat's rocking and rolling already. Very nice. Very nice. And Ars Fabula by Gradacious is also joining us tonight. Do want to point out, stick around. I've got a surprise. I've got a holiday surprise for you a little bit later. Tonight, we're actually doing something different. I received this big box from Steamforged Games. It's supposed to contain the 2 new epic encounters, Ruins of Symbaroum. Yes, I know that's really how it's pronounced. I always say Symbaroum. I don't know. I want to do that dramatic flair. I figure it's the last show of the year. Might as well be, kind of silly and goofy, right? Anyway, yes, I know it's Symbaroum. But it's supposed to have that. It's supposed to have some extra goodies in there. So my contact over at Steamforged Games did reach out, said they were sending this along. And I said, hey, What if I do a live unboxing? And they're like, yeah, that'd be awesome. So, of course, I shot her the link today and got a message back, an auto reply saying, oh, I'll be out of the office until the 2nd of January. I'm like, oh, because you got to realize I don't get a link to the live stream until the previous stream ends, right? So I can't give you a link for a stream 2 days out. As far as I know, I can't. Maybe I can schedule videos. I'm sure it's something I would have to jump through some hoops that I'm not willing to do. So there's that. DB is with us in chat. Welcome aboard. Yes, and this is the last show of the year. That does not mean that you will not find news and reviews over on thegaminggang.com through the rest of December. Does not mean that you're not going to see any videos here on the channel, because I do have some reviews already slated. So we shall see. Gleeman RX's Free League shipping warehouse is creating problems with their Symbaroum Black Friday purchase. What is it with Free League's business ops being so terrible? So the funny thing is, now I'm not positive about this, but I think this is the case. I think their warehouse for sales is different than who ships out like my review stuff. I think that's the case. So don't know. Because remember, as I had pointed out, Free League Publishing now uses a third-party PR company. So I think they're the ones who handle shipping stuff out for reviewers and that. I don't know. Just, I never have a problem. I tend to always get stuff, except the one time that there was a mix-up with the electric state. Everybody thought it was sent, and it wasn't. So anyway. So let's talk about this week's sponsor rather than having me just babble on and on and on and on and on. Because this week, the Dispatch is sponsored by Polar Vortex number 9. Take a break from the cold this February by gathering with friends and family to enjoy the warmth and fun of playing games together at Polar Vortex 9. Wow, I just warmed up the cockles of my heart. Really did. I said cockles. I know how some of you pervs are out there. Polar Vortex number 9 is Chicago's favorite local winter gaming convention. The Polar Vortex team invites you to join them at the Sheridan Lyle Naperville Hotel, February 14th. Yes, that's correct. It is Valentine's Day. And I said it correctly today. Valentine's Day. Not like I butchered it last night for whatever reason. Anyways, the 14th through the 16th, 2025. Polar Vortex grew out of a desire to create a general tabletop gaming convention in the Chicago region that gaming hobbyists and the general public alike could enjoy. They also want to support local game retailers and publishers and give back to the general community. At this year's convention, you're going to find such activities such as Play and Win. I'll tell you a little bit about that in just a moment. The D&D Adventures League, the Star Wars role-playing game. There's the Pathfinder and Starfinder societies. There is Shadow Dark. I've been saying Shadow Run. Turns out, well, it wasn't. It was the copy that I got, right? So it was kind of funny. So one of the gentlemen who runs Polar Vortex, his name is Brian, and he reached out and he said, hey, we don't have a Shadow Run event. So, but, we are doing Shadow Dark. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then a little while later, he emailed and said, oh, you know what? That's my fault. I wrote Shadow Run. There's the Catan National Qualifier, Bolt Action Tournament, Star Wars Legion Tournament. There's a Gaslands Tournament, game demos, a board game library, silent auction, which will benefit the American Cancer Society. There are raffles, which will benefit Extra Life Chicago, which in turn benefits the Laurie Children's Hospital of Chicago, which you may recall, we have done some live events with Extra Life in the past. It's been a few years, but we did that. Yeah, and that was our hospital that we helped out. Got a costume contest, paint and take, painting seminars. There's even a miniatures painting contest, as well as vendors, crafters, and artists. Wonder if my friend Rob Hogan is going to be there because they actually shared a picture of him at, I think it's Polar Vortex 8. So, and he's an artist that I know. So he's a good guy. Had like a brain, if I remember right, I think it was a brain aneurysm, almost killed him. It's taken him quite a while to recover. So big thumbs up there. He's, like I said, he's a real nice guy. So Kabuki Kid is joining us in chat, as has Agile Monk. Said I used to know a Bob Hogan, amusingly, not an artist. Hogan! My God, I haven't seen that show in probably 40 years. I was never actually a Hogan's Hero fan. I don't know. I got a little story we can talk about with Hogan's Heroes later on during the AMA. I'll bring it up. I should also point out, you can celebrate Valentine's Day Friday night. Wouldn't that be Valentine's night? Friday night. With a special semi-private event, couples can enjoy a variety of two-player games while indulging in a Sunday bar. I've got more information about that because I was jokingly teasing about, what, no ice cream for the singles? So essentially, it's attendees. They can be couples. They can be friends. They can be absolute strangers playing two-player games. They will be able to enjoy the Sunday bar. And it's semi-private because it's taking place in the private dining room of the restaurant, which, having worked at a big, fancy, big, old money resort back in Arizona back in the day, private dining rooms tend to be semi-private. They're not private. You can see into them as you walk past. They're not like hidden away. The Polar Vortex team is excited to offer fun convention experiences for all ages this year. And the convention is packed with a range of activities. Now, you can score a weekend badge for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for $45. I want to point out, I'm going to be there. So I know that's going to dissuade many of you from attending, but I should warn you, not only am I going to be there, Elliot Miller is going to be there. And if I can twist some arms with the fine folks over at Polar Vortex, I'm going to see if I can get a couple of passes, one for my brother and one for my nephew Cameron. And then if you see us floating around, come and game with us. Yep, that's how we're going to do it. That's how we are going to do it. If you encounter me, by all means, say hi if you're attending, of course. And we'll be playing some games. I guarantee you we'll be playing some games. We'll be bringing some stuff with us. We might even delve on into that play and win, which essentially is a game library. You check the game out, you play it. If you would like to win that game at the end of the convention, when you turn the game back in, you let them know. And then on Sunday, they essentially raffle all those games off, and they essentially try to get them to the people who've played it. And I thought it was kind of cool. They make sure that nobody can win a second game until they've already won one time all around. Thought that was pretty nice. So if you want to learn more, you can swing on over to polarvortex.games. You can register for the convention over at tabletop.events. Yes. And we are booked for that hotel. So I've already booked the room for Friday and Saturday night. And I will tell you the group rate is $119 per night. And the reality is, Valentine's Day, that's actually a pretty good deal. The $119. I thought that was... Okay. Sharon Down says, no worries, Jeff. There's a crap ton of restaurants mere blocks away. plus a beer bar. Yes, I shouldn't say I was already taking a peek to see what might be around there. Funny enough, I'm familiar with the area that's just a little bit west of where the hotel is. So I'm not real familiar with the area the hotel is right in, but some of the suburbs nearby, I'm very familiar. So Ellie and I were even talking about, if we're going to go partake in adult beverages, which we know will be taking place. There's no getting around that. We'll probably just Uber someplace and hang out. All right. Gleeman RX says, yep, that's a great rate. I know. Yeah. I thought so too. Especially, I mean, it's a Sheraton. I know. Unfortunately, there's no free breakfast. That tends to be a requirement for Elliot, as I've mentioned in the past. It's sort of like, is it free breakfast? Well, and it can't be continental breakfast. It's like, what's the point of that? But no, there is not. But he said, hey, we're staying where the convention is. So that's going to make up for it. So very cool. Very cool. That is our sponsor this week, Polar Vortex 9. All right, let's see. Anybody popped into chat that I have not said hello to? Yes. I see Jose Fernandez is with us. Rex ran 1. I already said hello to Kabuki Kid, but I did not say Double K's in the house. Then everybody's. I think last time Kabuki Kid popped in, someone in chat, it may have been Shad O'Donnell, said, hey, aren't you going to say Double K's in the house? Agile Monk asks, who wrote that copy? The fine folks over at Polar Vortex 9. Although, I ad-libbed a little bit. And I trimmed out a lot of the events. Otherwise, I'd just be reading events for 5 minutes, which probably would not be all that exciting for you folks. There you go. There you go. Oh, yeah. Mike says, group hotel. Where are your hands? Between 2 pillows. Those aren't pillows. Yeah, how about those Bears? Yeah, hell of a team. All right. So, as I mentioned tonight, doing something a little bit different. We're not doing a news portion of the show, which I normally will do a tabletop news segment, I guess is what I would say. Nope. Tonight, first up, we are going to actually dive on in and take a first look inside this box that got sent to me. That's right, which is from Steamforged Games. And it's supposed to contain the 2 initial Epic Encounters Runes of Symbaroum releases. So that's what it's supposed to be. And when I say this is an unboxing, I'm not joking. It really is an unboxing. Let me adjust the... There we have it. Get a couple of things out of the shot here. There we go. So this is the box. So I have already cut it open. But I have not actually folded anything back to take a peek. So let's see what we've got here. So it was my understanding that there are some other goodies in here that they sent to content creators. Okay, so I can tell that's one of the boxes. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Ruins of Symbaroum core book. Okay, so that's wrapped in something. Here is the other box. Oh, looks like t-shirts and a hat. Oh, no. Okay, so it's a bag. Well, we'll take a closer look at this stuff. There's a beanie. That's cool. And a mug. Looks like it's an Epic Encounters mug. And you notice that the paper here is all the same color I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything here. It's the same color as the font on the box, the Epic Encounters font. Cthulhu says, nice toque, eh? Hey, take off, eh? To the Great White North. It's a beauty way to go. All right, we'll get that box out of the way. So let's look at the extra goodies that they sent. So here we go. Here is I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit closer. This lens is odd because you turn it one way and it actually pulls back, and then but after you get to a certain point, if you're still turning it the same way, then it starts zooming in. It's like, okay. All righty. So here we go. Here's the beanie. Here's the cap or the toque, as Cthulhu pointed out. So that's cool. That's nice. Fabric bag. My God, you know how many fabric bags I have from companies? It's like, jeez. Some I've got are actually massive. Gleeman RX asks, will he wear the beanie? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that I have no problem with that. You got to remember, too, my car doesn't have heat. So, yeah, we had to go and circumvent the heater coil because it was leaking. And my car is really old. No joke. My car is really old. And to get to the heater coil, we would have had to have taken out the dashboard and a few other things. And the car is so old, I was curious. Well, I should say I was worried that if we tried to take that dashboard out, if it would break into all these different pieces. So yes, it is a mug. Oh, actually, this is a really nice mug. Very nice. Oh, now we got a sticker. So there you go. Epic Encounters. It's even got a cork bottom to it. So no clanging around, no scratching furniture or anything. Very nice. Well, strangely enough, it's right here. Normally we have that here and here. That's okay. That's cool. So who's going to ask me if it's like, is he going to use the cup? I will. DB says, doesn't look dishwasher safe. Well, there's instructions here. Thankfully, written in such a large font, I will have absolutely no problem reading. Yeah. All right. So I should point out, I did not realize that I actually have this layered in the wrong order. Ta-da! Here I am. See, the funny thing is, I know, little too much inside baseball, I'm sure, but the camera that's on right now, if I have this camera set up in OBS Studio, if I have it set up for the settings I've got for the live show and I don't use this camera, it crashes the stream. I know, that's kind of weird, but it does. It'll crash the stream. So what I do is I have to get rid of this camera from the settings every time after I do a video like this. And sadly, I didn't take a peek at it when I added it back in. So, you didn't get to see my mug for a while. Big deal. Yeah, it looks like, I think that's what this is. It is Ruins of Symbaroum. Oh, it's the core book for Symbaroum. It's not Ruins of Symbaroum. That's kind of wild. Seeing that the Epic Encounters are for Ruins of Symbaroum. Hey, I'm not complaining. That's kind of cool. I already have this book. I've reviewed it as well. So there is that. But interesting, interesting. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a peek at the bigger creature first. And what I think we'll end up doing is we'll take a look at the contents of both boxes, and then I will zoom in so we can look at the individual miniatures. So this is the corrupted Coloss. But as you can see, it's indicating ruins of Symbaroum for 5e. But the reality is, I mean, come on, you could use these miniatures for anything related to the setting. If you're not overly familiar with epic encounters, normally what you'll find inside, if it's a big size miniature, you'll get the miniature, you'll get essentially an encounter or a few encounters, almost like a little one shot that you can insert in. And then this is going to have a really big miniature. We get like a battle mat. So here's our little adventure. Yes, we normally have some tokens. And then there's our big baddie. And of course, we will take a closer look at this in just a few moments so we can see the detail on it. Looks pretty cool. Looks pretty wild. So in the meantime, let's take a look here at this mat. And the mat is treated, so this isn't just paper. So this should hold up very nicely. This is very reminiscent of the 5e epic encounters. Usually, it's only the one side. Usually what you'll see is they'll have a couple of related releases come out, and one will have a few different miniatures, and one will have a big mini. So like the dragon turtle, it's so cool. Everybody who's seen that dragon turtle is like, wow, that's so cool. And I'm like, yep, I know. And I don't have time to paint it. DB says their son got some epic encounters sets for Christmas a few years ago. They had a great time painting all the miniatures and played the game with his friends. It was a blast. Good value. Indarius Termina is with us, is asking, so is an epic encounter crossover with Free League? Yes. Yes, they have. They've entered into a partnership, or they're licensing it, one of the two. So there we go. Mini Chess says that Dragon Turtle's on their Christmas list. Okay, so we've got, I guess we're close enough in for this. So here is the book here for the encounter. It's going to give us a breakdown of what is this box set, a little overview of it. So they're saying here it's an adventure. There's the Coloss combat dashboard. So using the terrain. And that is a look at the bigger play mat, which of course, obviously enough, you can use the play mat in the miniature for any sort of miniature role playing or any sort of miniatures game that you happen to decide to take part in. So here's the encounter path, the abilities of the Coloss. Surprises, cinematic moments, the Rage of the Titan, falling Coloss. Then we get stat blocks. That should wrap it up. There we go. So we've got stat blocks for goblins, Elf of Spring, Barbarian Warrior. So it is the corrupted Coloss. Like I said, we're going to take a look at that miniature in a bit more detail in just a moment. I'm going to move this up and out of the way. Then we're going to take a look at the bigger box because this has a multitude of miniatures in it. I think it's got some adventurers, and then it's got, I want to say they might be like hirelings, henchmen sort. And Darius Terminus says that art kind of makes them think of the giant turtle that Critical Role made, the Horizon back turtle. The reality is, I guarantee that artwork you just saw is from one of the Symbaroum books, probably the regular Symbaroum, and that was done long before Critical Role. All right, so this is the Gem in the Barrow. 20 miniatures inside this box. So this will carry an MSRP of $59.99. The Corrupted Coloss will carry an MSRP of $49.99. So, if you think about it, $60 for 20 miniatures, that's a pretty solid deal. Now, of course, granted, these are plastic and there are dupes, but there are also a good number of just individual characters, it looks like, too. It's like maybe 10 unique sculpts in this. All right, so once again, we've got our battle mat, and we've got the Gem in the Barrow. So as far as our mat goes, just like so. Almost looks like it's a stone circle. Oh no, it's it's a barrow. Duh. Oh, this is double-sided here. There we go. It looks like we get a camp. All right. So, all righty. So we've got that. Then we've got the book. So it's going to give us same kind of, welcome to Epic Encounters. Here's our adventure overview. So we got barbarians and the barrow. Then we've got the camp. It looks like there's some goblins that they're going to be battling. Although there are no tokens for the goblins, so we have to assume that we've got miniatures for them. So here are the stat blocks for goblins. Is that Ill Goblin, Elf of Spring, Elf of Late Summer, Barbarian once again, the Wolf, got a Barbarian champion, and that is the booklet. So now what we're going to do is we are going to zoom on in, take a better look at these sculpts. So and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lock in the focus. So let's zoom on in as close as we can get. I have to click on a little tab to lock the focus. So this looks like this is, let's lock it there. There we go. So this looks like this is like a goblin shaman of some sort. It's been a while since I took a peek at Symbaroum. Sammy does the reviews of the various different releases. In fact, I'm trying to remember if she's wrapped up the Chronicle of the Throne of Thorns. I think she's got one more review to do. So get that. Then it's like a hunter with a hound dog. Pretty cool. And then it's like this guy's like a champion. Hopefully the focus is pretty good here. I always like this character. I forget what class they are. And this is actually based on artwork from Symbaroum. And they wear like this mask. Might not be that easy to make out. But I like this design. I think it's pretty cool. But strangely enough, it looks like they're wearing a sword and they've got a sword drawn. Maybe that's the artwork. So, or it's possible that they fight with two swords. Indarius Terminus says the focus is pretty good. They can make out most of the detail. Nice. Okay. So we got that. Here comes a magic user. This has some really nice detail with the staff, the book. Looks like it's probably a woman. But I don't think it would be too difficult to paint it either gender, whatever gender you'd want. That's pretty cool. I like that. Steamforged Games has some nice artists on staff with their sculpts. So I believe this is the Barbarian Champion and Wolf. So there we've got that. Got an archer. And then I think this is just a barbarian standing on a rock. Wielding dual battle axes. Okay, so now we've got goblins. So there are 4 of these. There are 4 goblins, dual hand axes. Clement RX says the sorcerer's gozer. It's whatever it wants to be. Okay, so that was that. Then we've got, I think these are elves. So we got 4 of these. It's like everybody's like a dual wielder here. So if you had, so this is what I think is kind of odd. Once again, I think this is probably based on artwork. But if you had your if you had your sword drawn, would you also be carrying your bow in the other hand? I don't know. So we've got 4 of those, and then we have 4 of these sculpts, if I can get this out. might just be kind of like men at arms. What? Shield? What a wimp. Using a shield. Oh, maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was a hobgoblin as far as the character we just were looking at previously. Yeah, it's very possible. Okay, so we've taken a look at those. Now let's take a look at the corrupted Coloss. Oh, yeah. That is big. That is bulky. All right. So it should be about here that gives us that nice focus once again. So this is a woodlands creature or Goliath. So that is pretty damn cool. Give you a peek at it from up top. Hopefully you're getting the detail here. The various sinews and pieces of bark. And then look at its face. Luminark says it's Groot. So just as a size comparison, let's grab this guy here. So there you go. That is our size comparison. So pretty big. People are in chat are saying, yeah, it kind of reminds me of something. Maybe something from Monster Hunter. All right. So once again, the corrupted Coloss is $49.99, and then the gem in the barrow is $59.99, and these will be arriving in stores shortly. I think they're supposed to ship out and be in stores in January, if I remember correctly. So big thank you to the fine folks over at Steamforged Games for popping on this big old box into the mail to me. Pretty cool. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. All right. So we are going to jump on into a bit of a holiday AMA to wrap up the final show of 2024 in just a few moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission. Wait a second. I didn't.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
He might not know what to do with all the crazy gifts he'll get this Christmas, but he'll sure know what to do with Old Spice.
All right, so this is kind of weird. So it started playing. It's playing the wrong intermission. But let me look at something here because I specifically downloaded the correct intermission. See, that's what happens. It's a live show. Oh yeah, okay. So weirdly enough, that's strange. All right, give me a second here because I actually went and put together this intermission for tonight. give me just a moment here. I'm going to re-download it because normally what I do is I just upload it to Dropbox, and then when I come down here, let's see. Okay. For some reason, I guess that the download was corrupted. Well. All right, give me a second here. I'm going to go back to this intermission video. It'll take a moment for me to change it over, and then we'll get into tonight's brief intermission, which is not as brief as it normally is right now.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
Once upon a time, there was a little boy who was told that the spirit of Santa Claus was everywhere and in everyone at Christmas time. No matter where he looked, he saw Santa. The postman, the milkman, even the pictures on the wall. Wherever he looked, he saw Santa. That was because he was a little boy and had a believing heart. On Christmas morning, he opened his presents. He looked up into his father's face. No beard, no red cheeks. And the little boy was very happy, for he understood now that the spirit of Christmas was a thing of the heart. And he knew that while the others looked like Santa Claus, his father was Santa Claus. Yes, the spirit of Christmas is everywhere. And I cheerfully bring you the personal greetings of the manager and all the employees of this theater. And may you all find your own Santa in the hearts of the ones you love. A Merry Christmas.
You know, people who don't drink Wilkins coffee just blow up sometimes.
Oh, that's a lot of...
See what I mean?
Ah, there it is. My house. How could I ever forget it?
That star is crooked.
Christmas was on its way.
Ralphie, what would you like for Christmas?
I want an official Red Ryder Carbine Action 200 range ball air rifle.
No, shoot your eye out.
Oh, no.
Come on, Mom, we're gonna be late. I triple dog dare you.
What I want for Christmas.
Aha! A little bribe never hurts.
A lamp! Oh, wow!
When all is most right with the world,
Oh, you should see what it looks like from out here.
the most unthinkable disasters descend upon us.
Scott Farkas.
Don't you give me that look. You're gonna get it.
How about football?
No, I want an official Red Ryder Carbine Action 200 range battle air rifle.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Ho, ho, ho.
Scott Fargus. He had yellow eyes. Yellow eyes. What is it? So help me God, yellow eyes. That's Kabuki Kid. It's also pointed out Scott Fargus. That's right. A lot of people don't realize it is not Scott, although that's supposed to be the character's real name. They call him Scott. Scott Fargus. Somebody said, DB said that this is supposed to be set in Chicago. Actually, it's not. To my knowledge, A Christmas Story. Now, I'm not talking about the sequels. I'm talking about A Christmas Story. Is supposed to be just over the border in Indiana. So that the family doesn't live in Illinois, but they are Bears fans, which would be the case. Because at that point in time, the only professional NFL team nearby would be the Bears. So, and some other people over the years have said, oh yeah, this is set like during the Second World War, or it's set just before the Second World War. It's actually supposed to be right after. So it's supposed to be around, I think, 46, 47. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Even to this day, my friends and I and my family, we'll just pop out quotes just out of nowhere. I tend to throw out, gone. Oh, gone. No turkey soup. No turkey sandwiches. Gone. Oh, gone. Shoto Dallas's Jeffridge Farm remembers. Oh, fudge. Mentions W Forge. Yes. Yes. All righty. So before we get into the AMA, a couple of things I want to mention. First of all, I want to thank those of you out there who happen to go and visit Drive-Thru RPG. And before you do, you stop by thegaminggang.com first and click on one of our banner ads. I also want to shout out to the fine folks who pop on over to paypal.me/thegaminggang and make donations. So, hell, yeah, you can always pop over, buy me a 2-liter bottle of soda. And big thank you to folks out there like our good friend of the show, the Madman, my pal Scott Weigel, I went to high school with, Joshua Edwards, John Webster, and John Large. And let's not forget Agile Monk with their super chats from last night for $49.99. Any car, any color, $49.99. So I also want to mention, as far as the 50/50 used game sale to benefit St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, ended up raising $310. Man, that didn't sell a ton of stuff. And it was kind of funny when I totaled it up. I was like, wow. And then I realized it was like one package ended up going to Canada. So shipping on that was crazy. And then another package went to Singapore, which shipping on that was like $170. It was weird. DHL wanted to charge over $300, and it was a 20-pound box. It's like crazy. And Agile Monk once again is popping out a big super chat. This time for an even $50. Oh, why? So I can't do the Earl Scheib thing? Thank you very much. So, we ended up bringing in 300. Well, I rounded it up, 325. So that is going to be the donation made to St. Jude's. Remember, it's a 50/50. So St. Jude's was going to get half, and then I would get half. And what I'm going to do is, as my gift to you, if you are watching live tonight, got to be watching live, got to chime in chat. I mean, you don't have to like go crazy about it. You just, hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. What have you? What I'm going to do is, if you give the video a thumbs up, comment on the video, comment's got to be 9 words or more. That's what I've been told. So, like the video, give the video, a comment. Of course, got to be a subscriber. And then email me from the email address that you have for your YouTube account, which is going to be your Gmail. Email me your choice. You can choose either the core rulebook for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, or you can choose the Player's Handbook and the Monsters and Treasure book together for Castles and Crusades. So, and remember, those are the only 2 books you need for Castles and Crusades. The Castle Keeper's Guide is all optional. So everybody who's watching live get to take advantage of that. And you can email me at jeffmcaleer@thegaminggang.com, which many of you watch this show all the time. You're familiar with what my email address is. So there you go. Merry Christmas. That will be my gift to you. And if you already happen to own, and of course, we're talking PDFs. If you already happen to own those 3 books, I don't know what to tell you. Kevin King says raffle or something. No, there's no raffle involved at all. All you got to do, follow those instructions, send me an email, and tell me which do you want. Do you want the Warhammer 40K? Yeah, you want Warhammer 40K? Because I'm not giving it away. So tough shit if you want it. If you want the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay in PDF, or if you want the Castles and Crusades 2 books. Reason why it's 2 books is because the Player's Handbook is the free PDF. So they'll be like, hey, everybody, I'm going to give you a copy of Basic Fantasy. It's like, yeah, what do we need you for that, Jeff? Just go get it ourselves. Richard Harris is chiming on in chat. Welcome aboard. So, yeah. So once again, I'll just repeat that. So you got to be watching live and you have to chime in chat, which means you have to be a subscriber to the channel anyway to do that. But this is right. So here we go. We have Relighter Gamer said, I was lurking, then I hear free, the magic word. That is one of the reasons why I did that. Why I'm saying you got to do that is because you could be somebody who's just lurking, which we have plenty of folks who do that. We might have the lovely and talented Miss Sarah D doing that tonight. I don't know. I actually haven't seen her pop up in chat, so maybe not. I mean, we're closing in on Christmas. People are still doing shopping and decorating, cooking, all that other stuff right now. Anyway, so what I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that, because if you don't chime in, I don't know you were watching live. And that's part of the prerequisite, I guess I would say. So no, it's not a contest. Everybody who is watching live right now, everybody who chimes in chat, if you are a subscriber, because I can tell if you're a subscriber, it's very quick for me to take a peek at. Now, I can't tell if you gave the video a thumbs up or not. That's beyond me. But I ask that you please do. And comment on the video. So everybody who does that, reach out. Tell me which one you want, WIFRIP or CNC. There you go. So yeah, Sarah D is with us. Said her hands have been covered in glitter and glue, but she is there. Madman says, wow, they were done with their Christmas shopping at the beginning of October. I myself, not so much anymore, but I was one of those people who maybe I'd pick up a gift or two ahead of time, but I did the vast majority of my Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve, which is supposed to tell you about my personality. But it's actually a good thing as far as it's not like, yeah, he's insane. No, nothing like that. So Dave Webb is saying hello. Howdy. Welcome. So anyway, let's do a little bit of an AMA. I'm kind of surprised. Did I somehow miss it? Nobody commented about the quick change into the Santa Claus hat? I wasn't wearing, as a joke, I almost put this on. And I was like, no. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that I got that intermission out there, is because I was going to switch hats. So Sean O'Dell says, Sarah D's stuck to the table. Yeah. And the voice activation isn't working when she's like, turn this stream off. Turn it off. Keith Lewis said I should have done that. That'd have been cool. All right. Well, I guess, I am done doing the Santa Claus stuff. I told you the giveaway. And I mean, it is a giveaway. It's not a contest. Like I said, not a contest. I'll remind you when we wrap up the show, which we're not going 2 hours tonight. Probably going to run till probably the bottom of the hour, and that will be it. But here we go. Once again, proving I'm not bald. Do I need to? Yeah, I need to go this way. There we go. Sean O'Donnell says you should sell space on your head to sponsors. Funny enough, I would wear the GaryCon hat when I would do like old school reviews and stuff like that. Just to kind of, GaryCon, hey, we should go this year. So I'm not mad at the people at GaryCon. I know some folks out there think I am. No, I just think it was short-sighted of them to be like, oh yeah, we'll give you a press pass, but you can't game on the press pass. You're like, okay. So, I don't know. I actually kind of like the look of the Santa hat better than this. Maybe I just don't have it pulled down enough. It's funny because if I wear, I went the wrong way. If I wear these things, I tend to wear them for, warmth, not for, God damn it. Come on. Probably be a good idea if I actually looked at the preview as I'm moving this around to try to kind of center it up a little bit, as opposed to being like looking off that way as I do it. Okay. Relighter says, it's you, Jeff. Sean O'Donnell says, looks like he's about to do an epic crime. Yeah, if I pulled it all the way down, like over my eyes. Richard Harris says, this space for rent. Yeah, the space between is probably it. Anywho. All right. So if you got a question for the AMA, fire away. I do have a couple of questions people had sent in that are holiday related. The AMA doesn't have to be holiday related. Somebody asked, what's my favorite Christmas song? I think I've mentioned this before. It is the Pogues' Fairy Tale of New York. There might be a few of you out there going, what? What is that? Huh? What is that? It is a Christmas song from, I want to say it's the 80s. Love that song. That is my absolute favorite Christmas song. And it's kind of funny because there's a video for it. So Pull it up. It's called The Fairy Tale of New York. The band is called the Pogues. And it is, you're going to be kind of surprised. You're going to be a little surprised by this. But the reality is, I think it does truly sum up what Christmas means for some people. So, yeah, it's that is my favorite Christmas song. And then another question was, what's my favorite Christmas movie? And my favorite Christmas movie, and yes, I do believe Die Hard is a Christmas movie, but that's not my favorite. I shared the trailer for my favorite Christmas movie. I love that movie. And it's funny because even though it's set like 30 years before I was, 20 years before I was born, there are still some things there that are familiar. And I mean, there's some things that are just universal about it, regardless of when it is. But I honestly think someone my age, I'm 57, that there are things like the department store. Yeah, department stores were like that. We didn't have malls. We had department stores. And that's why a lot of people would go, like if you lived outside Chicago, you would travel into Chicago and you might take the train. A lot of people would take the train in to go downtown to go shopping because you had these big stores like Marshall Fields. And Marshall Fields, their windows used to have these elaborate, well, they didn't consider them animatronics back then, but it's what we call it now. Each window would have a Christmas display, and there were people who would actually go just to see the Christmas displays at Marshall Fields, which is gone, sadly. They went out of business not that long ago. And thankfully, there was a clock that extended from the building that is, for Chicagoans, pretty famous. A lot of people were worried when Marshall Fields finally went belly up. And I think it was Macy's took over the building. A lot of people were concerned that was going to be the end of the clock. They did not get rid of the clock. The clock is still there. Very cool. Like that quite a lot. DB says, so your favorite Christmas song isn't Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time? I don't mind that song once or twice during the season. It's like Agile Monk points out their favorite Christmas movie and movie of all time, It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, that's right there. That is right there with A Christmas Story. Funny enough, a lot of times people don't realize that movie was a huge flop when it came out. Massive flop. And it was, if I remember right, the story was the copyright actually expired on it. And that's why it depends on your age. But about 20 years ago, no, actually probably a little more than that, probably about 30 years ago, the copyright ran out on it because nobody cared. And they just simply either didn't think it was worth renewing the copyright on it or what. And I think that to renew the copyright on that would have cost them something like $7 or $14, something like that. And that's why every time when I was in my 20s, anytime around Christmas time, you could turn on the TV and there would be some channel that would be playing It's a Wonderful Life because anybody and everybody could just play it. And there were times that It's a Wonderful Life would be on, this is in the Chicago area, 3 competing channels at the same time, all in various, this one started at 7, this one started at 7:30, this one started at 8. And that's why It's a Wonderful Life has become such a classic, is because every time you turn around, you could walk into a store and they had It's a Wonderful Life on VHS for like $2.99. And they had it colorized, $2.99. So everybody had it. Everybody saw it. And then it wasn't that long ago that NBC bought the rights to it. So NBC, I think NBC still has the rights to it. So rather than seeing It's a Wonderful Life a multitude of times during the holiday season, now it's on once. And if I remember correctly, I think it is on Christmas Eve. Oh no, Christmas evening is when it's on. It's on at night on Christmas, if I remember correctly. Because it's usually on when we get back from my brother's on Christmas. So I think it's probably Central Time, like 7 o'clock that it starts. There was another thing I had mentioned. I said, oh, yeah, I'll tell you a story about that when we get into the AMA. And now I forgot what it was. It was actually, I guarantee it was something along the lines of like, hey, you may not know about this, but, kind of like a Christmas story. Well, it doesn't really take place in Chicago. It's supposed to take place in Indiana. Kabuki Kid asks, who remembers the Mr. Magoo, A Christmas Carol? I do. I remember that. The Mammoth says, I really like FX's A Christmas Carol. It's really dark, but very well done. I still watch all the old Rankin Bass shows that he watched as a kid. What was the one that was not going to be on this year? And people were kind of in an uproar about it. Was it Frosty the Snowman? Was it Frosty the Snowman that wasn't going to air this year? It was some classic that we've all grown up with. Even if you're not in the United States, these are things that you've grown up with, regardless where you are in the world at Christmas time. And for some reason, I think it was Frosty the Snowman, or maybe it was Rudolph. Tessie Trekkie's with us this Violent Night. It's a wonderful Christmas movie, especially the part where you see just how dangerous Home Alone style traps would really be. Richard Harris says, yeah, I think it was Frosty. Yeah, and people were like, I don't know. Another great Christmas movie is, of course, National Lampoon, Christmas Vacation. That's a pretty good one. But yes, unfortunately, I don't recall what I was going to tell you. I was like, oh, wait, I'll get into that. Duh. Sean O'Donnell says, Inner Tube say it was both Rudolph and Frosty. I wonder why. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I wonder why. Although, oddly enough, if you live in the United States, now I don't tend to watch a lot of network television. I watch almost none, to be very honest, unless it's football, sports, something like that. Maybe I have a network channel on. But I've noticed, because my dad watches the news. I watch it too, of course, and I've noticed lately that during the news, we've got some, it's just an observation. I'm not saying anything either way about it, but I noticed that we've got almost on a nightly basis, a relatively long ad, essentially what it is. And it's religious. And it's from, I want to say, Is it? It's not Jerry Falwell's son. I think it's Billy Graham's son, if I remember right. Some famous evangelical preacher's son. And I'm kind of surprised, sort of surprises. And it's like a nightly basis. And it's, really pushing Christianity. And I'm like, oh, okay. There you go. It's Billy Graham's son. Thank you, Agile Monk. But maybe we're not seeing Frosty and Rudolph because of that. I don't know. But I thought it was kind of weird that not the ads. I mean, it is what it is. But I thought it was kind of strange that we weren't going to see. That's like saying, hey, this year, yeah, we're not going to have Charlie Brown Christmas on. People be like, what? The hell you say? It's like, what do I live in communist Russia now? What the fuck is going on? No Charlie Brown Christmas. Gone. All gone. Oh, yes. Kabuki Kid's talking about Saturday Night Live. You can walk all this time. And it's funny, Dennis Miller plays George Bailey's brother. And it's funny because really Dennis Miller didn't show up in a lot of sketches because he did the Weekend Update. And he's like, hey. He's like the one who breaks the news about Potter's got the money. And then the late, great Phil Hartman as Uncle Billy. Yeah, that's pretty good. I've shared that with a few people who are like, oh my God. I think it goes on a little too long. I think it wears out its welcome a little bit. But so there is that. Agile Monk says, Phil Hartman, hilarious. Hilarious. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Yeah, we shared the trailer last week on that one. So, Babes in Toyland, a.k.a. March of the Wooden Soldiers. I have seen that, but I got to say, it has probably been 40 years since I've seen that. And strangely enough, when I was a kid, I had a lobby card from that movie. I don't know how I had gotten it, but I had, which even when I was a little kid, they didn't have lobby cards anymore. Maybe like when I was born, they still did. But it was actually, it was almost like a postcard for the movie, but it was larger. And funny enough, when I was a kid, when I was probably 8, 9 years old, I remember going to theaters and they would actually have pictures of the scenes, which I think were still considered lobby cards then too. But yes, Tessie Trekky's talking about the sweaty balls. Everybody loves my sweaty balls. Alec Baldwin. Yep, that was SNL. That certainly was. All righty then. So anybody got, actually, this really hasn't been an AMA. This has just been shooting the shit, which is fine with me. I don't have beef. Anyway, I was going to say, if anybody's got one last question they want to toss out. So I know Chris Lundgren's usually hanging out. He's not with us in chat tonight, but he's always throwing questions out. He's always throwing stuff out, questions about stuff that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. DB said SNL also had the Glengarry Glenn Ross parody where Alec Baldwin gives the speech but ABC means always be cobbling. I remember that with the elves. Weirdly enough, if you've ever been in sales and you have like sales management, the ABC is something that they use all the time. And it's not cobbling, it's closing. When I was a manager, I never used that. I mean, I would tell my sales staff to, always be looking to close the sale. But it wasn't like ABC, always be closing. You want to know what second prize is? A set of steak knives. Third prize, you're fucking fired. Pretty wild to see Alec Baldwin nominated for an Oscar for a role that's all of 5 minutes in length. You don't see that too often. Every once in a while, you'll see something like that. Wasn't it Judi Dench? Dame Judi Dench? Wasn't she nominated for something that she was in like for 5 minutes? And I know it wasn't Cats. Always be closing, always be selling. Yeah, I worked with some managers who were like, dude, really? Come on, man. It's like, chill out. Chill out. All righty. So, here's an answer to a question. Yeah. Agile Monk nominates the Gaming Gang channel for an Oscar. Yeah, maybe an Oscar the Grouch pops out of a trash can. But you'll notice that when I talk, sometimes I like pause or I do this. So, reason why I do that is rather than saying, which I do sometimes anyway. But yeah, that's mainly why. And, sometimes because a lot of times I go through, I don't watch the entire show again, but I jump through so I can do the, like the monetization and do the timestamps. And I'll hear myself, and I'm like, damn it. But I guess it's better than just it's like here's a little tidbit we'll wrap up with. Bill Clinton with that thumb. I feel your pain. I know that was an awful Clinton. But the thumb, this thing, doing the yeah, I'm talking. That was so he wouldn't say that's what the hand was for, was to help him focus. That's why he would always talk like that. Kabuki Kid asks if anybody else has seen the Mad TV gag they did on the Rankin Bass Rudolph shows. They did a parody of The Godfather with Rudolph as the Rainfather. I think I've seen that, but I think I've seen that like on YouTube. I don't recall watching much Mad TV. I didn't watch a lot of In Living Color either. I watched a little bit. But for some reason, if I remember correctly, I think it was on a night that I was almost never around. But yeah, how many people out there remember Fridays? That's where like Michael Richards got his, kind of his boost. And I remember there's this Andy Kaufman episode that's like super bizarre, that it's like this fight breaks out, but then they say, oh, well, it was fake. It was planned. And then I hear stories where it's like, no, that wasn't fake. That wasn't part of the, the game plan. And I was like, cause I understand Andy Kaufman would make people think crazy shit was going on when it was all game planned down, down to exactly what was going to happen, like wrestling women and shit like that. But yeah, I remember that. And, funny enough, I have watched some clips from Fridays on YouTube over the years. In fact, not too long ago, maybe a couple of years ago. And I thought, man, this show is not aged well because it wasn't clever. It was more kind of goofy gonzo. And it was even I remember as a kid, well, I was a teenager by this point, when Michael Richards would do the little kid who loved war and everything, and everybody would be dying. I've seen some of those, and it's like, man, you know what? This actually isn't even funny. And it would just go on and on and on. And you're like, Tell you what has held up really nicely. Second City TV. There is just, if you're around my age, maybe a little younger, you will find that the vast majority of that show is still really funny. I love when they do the Perry Como disco tour. I love the nightlife. I love the boogie on the disco. He's like, finally at the end, he's like laying in bed singing. Yeah. And you can find all of those on YouTube. You can find every single episode of SCTV on YouTube. So, but yeah, there you go. Relighter says best singer award. Yes. Hey, at least I didn't start busting out the fairy tale of New York. On the waterfront again. Yes. TV pointing that out. And every once in a while, I will make a reference to SCTV. So if you've been watching the show for long enough, you'll know sometimes I do like this stuff. Like, ooh, 3D. Oh. I did that for Halloween. Man says they remember watching a show called The Goodies on CBC, a bit like Monty Python type of humor. Huh. I'm not familiar with that. All right. So let's wrap up. Agile Monk is wishing everyone very happy holidays. Well, I mean, it's not what he's saying, but, I'm not going to steal his thunder by reading his comments. Do not forget, tonight is the last live stream of 2024 here on the channel. I will be back on January 2nd, which is a Thursday. So that means I will return with an episode of our Let's Build a Fantasy Role-Playing Game series. And then the other Tuesdays throughout January, I am going to do the same thing I was doing with the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons adventures, but we are going to be taking a peek at Call of Cthulhu. So I am actually going to have Tuesdays will be Cthulhu's days. And I will take a deep dive into a Call of Cthulhu adventure, which I have run, share my thoughts about it, and also some tips and advice on keepers who might be looking to run that tale. So that will be on Tuesdays. And Wednesdays, we'll do kind of our normal, what's going on sort of thing. But it's not going to be like, Wizards of the Coast sucks dick. It's not going to be that stuff. I know that brings in the views. And I know the other stuff, some of the stuff I've been doing lately has not been bringing in tons of views, which kind of sucks. But I don't want to be one of these channels where it's like, just chasing views. I mean, that's just not my thing. So yes, Glimmin RX says Cthulhu's Days. All right. Anyway, don't forget, if you're watching live, take advantage of my gift giving. Do I need to put my Santa hat back on? Which is too small, by the way. So make sure you've chimed in chat. You still have a couple moments if you've been lurking, or maybe you just got here. Be sure to chime in chat. Give the video a thumbs up. Be a subscriber to the channel. Leave a comment on the video, 9 words or more, and please, string together 9 words that make a coherent sentence. Game, Jeff, gaming gang. Watch video. It's like, what, huh? And then send me an email to jeffmcaleer@thegaminggang.com and tell me which you would prefer. Would you like the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Core Rulebook in PDF, or the Castles and Crusades Player's Handbook, as well as the Monsters and Treasures book in PDF? So let me know. Make sure you send the email from the email address which is associated with your YouTube account, which is going to be a Gmail address, just so you know. All right. And you had to be watching live to take advantage of the giveaway. So it's my way of saying happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, have a quality Kwanzaa, as I used to always say. And of course, enjoy the Festivus like the rest of us. And if you don't celebrate any sort of winter holiday, solstice, anything like that, well, I hope you enjoy the next couple of weeks, because that's when I'll be back. Couple of weeks. Right? Isn't it? Yeah. Actually, it's 2 weeks from tonight. All right, everybody. So very happy holidays to all of you. Once again, if you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live 2 weeks from now, it'll also inform you when I share other videos, such as my upcoming review of RuneQuest Classic Sun Country from my friends over at Chaosium Inc. That's right, I've got this coming. I also have the Pine Box, Texas Middle School review. That'll be up this weekend. So just because there's no live shows for a couple of weeks does not mean there will not be videos popping up here on the channel. And of course, you will still find news and reviews over at the newly redesigned thegaminggang.com, which of course you should be visiting whenever you're not watching videos on the channel. I don't mean you have to be there all day, every day, but pop on by. If you're watching live, thank you very much. If you watched live and took part in chat, a bigger thank you. Plus, that opens the door for that giveaway. So there's that. But of course, I know a lot of folks out there, they don't have an opportunity to watch live. It really doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you very much for taking time out to watch any of the over 2,100 videos here on the channel. It is much appreciated. It really, really is. Everybody enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. All the best to you and yours for whatever winter holiday you celebrate. And if you don't celebrate, hope you enjoy yourselves. Be careful, be safe, be happy. And of course, I will be back on January 2nd. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you so much for watching. And until I see you next time, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Quality Kwanzaa. Enjoy the Festivus for the rest of us. I don't want to leave anybody out.